Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be recapping and going over the Orioles and Guardians Game 1 of this 4-game road trip series that they're playing in Cleveland. The Orioles and Guardians played Game 1. That game just ended about a minute ago. This is an immediate post-game reaction, and my reaction to this game is much like a lot of my reactions I've had this season to far too many games where I'm not surprised, and I'm disappointed. The Orioles lost this game 10-5 to the Cleveland Guardians, and are now back to being 11 games below 500, and are now, have now lost 3 of the last 4 games coming out of the All-Star break, and have lost, 5 of the last 6 games in general. So, overall, not great. Not great at all from this Baltimore Orioles team. As we know, as every single day passes by, this Orioles team is more and more likely to make a move because this Orioles team cannot find any sort of consistency, any sort of rhythm, or any sort of momentum, and we are almost in August. And I've been saying that since, the first week of April. So, this has been a recurring problem all year. It's very frustrating, obviously, but at the same time, this Orioles team can't really do anything anymore that would surprise me or hurt me or just get me frustrated and upset anymore. Because if I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I think a lot of other Orioles fans agree with me, I've kind of accepted that this is over. Especially after what happened today, all the countless mistakes that the Orioles made, whether that was fielding mistakes, infield mistakes, whatever it was, decisions to pull guys out of the game or not, which I don't understand what Tony Mansolino was doing near the end of the game when Grant Wolfram gave up 4 runs, but what do I know? I'm not a big league manager, he is. But overall, this game was just disappointing, but at the same time, this is just the new norm, this is the new casual for the Orioles. I expect something to go wrong every single time a play needs to be made, whether that's a routine ground ball throw from third base to first base for an out, whether that's a rundown from catcher to third, whatever it is. I always expect the Orioles to mess it up, to be honest with you. But they haven't given me a reason not to think that. But again, disappointing is the word of the day, and it's really been the word of the year regarding this Orioles team. But the Orioles lose this game 10-5. The Orioles offense did their thing early on. They were up 3-0 after the first inning. They got base hit after base hit after base hit. Were able to score 3 runs in the first inning off of base hits. It was looking great. And then literally immediately after we get that 3-0 lead, in the bottom of the first inning, Tomoyuki Sugano gives up 3 runs himself, and all of a sudden the game is back tied 3-3 going into the second inning. Eventually the Orioles get a 5-3 lead thanks to a Ramon Laureano 2-run home run, and then the Guardians make it 5-4, and then 5-5, and then 5-6, and then 5-8, and then 5-10. So, the game just slipped away from the Orioles as it has multiple times this year. And whatever way the Orioles can lose, they'll find a way to do it. It doesn't matter if it's going to be via walk-off, via getting blown out, or via, just making horrible mistakes and just, not doing good at the end of the day. We've seen it all from this Orioles team, to be honest with you. You could make a bingo card. You can make a whole bingo card of the most disastrous things you can think of regarding an MLB team, and I think the Orioles might clear the damn board on that bingo card. But thankfully, I do have some good news. Tomorrow is episode 100 of Birds of a Feather, so that's going to be very special. Obviously, Birds of a Feather is a show, this is episode 99, and this show I hold very near and dear to my heart. I've had a ton of fun, obviously, doing the show, and it's been the time of my life being able to express my love and opinions and everything like that to y'all on the internet, for whoever listens, and I appreciate all you guys who listen. So tomorrow will be episode 100, but also what tomorrow is the official start of NFL the official start of NFL training camp. Tomorrow's the day where veterans report, and then I think the first official practice is on the 23rd. But tomorrow, everyone is going to be reporting at the facility. The rookies have been there for the past couple of days. Didn't really go over that because nothing really happened. There was no practices going on or whatever. But tomorrow, the veterans report, and then the 23rd is the official first practice of training camp for the NFL. So it happens to fall at a really good time with tomorrow being episode 100. Happens to fall at a pretty good time moving forward with this show. Obviously, with the way that the Orioles have been playing baseball this season, I cannot even express how excited I am to cover Ravens football. Obviously, when you look at the Ravens team that they have this season, how can you not be excited to talk about that team? Earlier today, ESPN rated all of the top most complete lineups and starting lineups in the NFL, and the Ravens ranked first in that category, which is a little bit of a surprise because I thought that they would have given that to the Eagles, but the Ravens, whether it's 1A or 1B, whether it's 1 or 2, they're very deserving of that spot, so that's obviously very good to see. And it's really cool to see players like Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and Isaiah Likely get the recognition that they deserve. Obviously, they don't have the elite level title like a Devontae Adams or an A.J. Brown or a Jamar Chase or a CeeDee Lamb or someone like that, but they, obviously we understand how good Zay Flowers, Bate, and Isaiah Likely are as young, targets for this Ravens team. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of Ravens football content going on within the rest of this month, and also in August, it's really going to be hitting hard, and then obviously September is the start of the season, and so on and so forth. But let's just go over this Orioles box score. Sorry about that, everyone. Sorry, I got a little off track with the Ravens stuff, but how can I not be excited to talk about Ravens football this season? But going over this Orioles and Guardians game, obviously, as I said, the Orioles lost this game 5-10 to the Guardians. The Guardians won at 10-5. The Orioles offense in this game, at the beginning, it was great. We scored 5 runs within the first 3 innings, and we didn't do anything from innings 4 through 9. Which we've seen a lot of times this year where the offense just kind of goes dead. But to be honest with you, I'm not really going to blame the offense. They had an early lead, and the pitching just sold it near the end of the game. But going over this offense, 6 total hits on the day, 0 walks drawn. So 6 total hits, went 2 for 4 with runners in scoring position, and left 1 guy on base. So pretty much everyone that they got on base, they were able to bring home, which was good to see. Jackson Holliday in this game, he was one of 2 players with a multi-a-day. He goes 2 for 4 with a run scored. Jackson Holliday, continues to just be such a great talent for this Orioles team. He's top 2 in total hits. Obviously, he's first in home runs. He's up there in RBIs. He's doing his thing this season, man, and I could not be more proud of Jackson Holliday. And obviously, moving forward into next season and farther, Jackson Holliday is going to be the leadoff guy for the foreseeable future with this Orioles team. Jordan Westburg goes 1 for 4 with a run scored. Gunnar Henderson goes 1 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI. Ryan O'Hearn goes 0 for 4 with a run scored. Ramon Laureano in this game is the other player with a multi-hit day. He goes 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs. So Ramon Laureano was responsible for bringing in 4 of the 5 total runs in this Orioles game. Gunnar Henderson was responsible for the other one. Ramon Laureano, 2-hit day, 2 for 4, 4 RBIs, and he also had a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning in this game to then give the Orioles the lead at the time, which eventually got erased very, very, very quickly. But speaking of Ramon Laureano, a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of people, after his performance today, obviously, defensively, we know how good he is as a defender. Today, it was just not his day in left field. He kind of collapsed. He bobbled a couple balls. He looked really stupid out there. But he made up for it on offense, obviously bringing in 4 runs and having that 2-run home run. But Ramon Laureano is getting I'm sure he's getting a lot of attention to possibly be getting traded. Now, he has a team option next season. He has a player, like a club option next season, which I think the Orioles, if he still is on the team, would 100% take. He has been amazing all season long, and been one of the best Orioles hitters in general this season. And he actually is now the Orioles leader in average. Oh my God, now that I look at it, he's now officially the Orioles leader in average. Ryan O'Hearn's average drops to a 278. Over the past month, he has been not the Ryan O'Hearn we've seen over the first few months of the season. Over the past month, all throughout the middle months of June and this month of July, he's not been great. His average is dropped to a 278. Overall, he's still having a pretty good year. But what's really frustrating about this Orioles team also is a lot of the guys who the Orioles were gonna, who the Orioles are shopping around to move. Guys like Rhino Hearn and Cedric Mullins and Tomoyuki Sagano and Zach Eflin and Charlie Morton. Guys like that, none of those guys have really been good over the past month. So their trade value, like a month and a half ago, was, at a decent spot, decently high. But now, I don't really know what the trade value is for those guys anymore. I don't know how far it's plummeted. I know Tomoyuki Sagano, his trade value has plummeted down to the Earth's core. Same thing with Charlie Morton. Same thing with Zach Eflin. Not Zach Eflin, the same thing with, I feel like Cedric Mullins as well even. But overall, this game was just kind of a disaster near the end of the game in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning. Kind of just got torn apart and was kind of uncomebackable for the Orioles, even though they didn't do anything on offense for a good part of this later half of the game. Colton Cowser in this game goes 0 for 4. Tyler O'Neill, everyone's favorite Oriole, 177 average on the season, also the highest paid player on the team. He goes 0 for 3. Cedric Mullins goes 0 for 3, and Austin Jackson goes 0 for 3. So offensively, not a great day. Obviously, Ramon Laureano had a great day on offense. Gunnar Henderson did his thing as well. Same with Jackson Holliday. But overall, not an incredible day. You would have liked to see them maybe fight a little bit later in the game and put up some runs and make this close. But we've seen this countless times from this Orioles team already this year. So there's really no point of just, digging a deeper hole in this conversation. Going over the Orioles pitching, the Orioles used 4 pitchers in this game compared to the Guardians 3. Tomoyuki Sagano did get the start today, and once again he disappointed. Not necessarily from an earned run standpoint, but from an innings pitch standpoint, and that's been his problem here recently over the last month or so. Tomoyuki Sagano, he's not necessarily giving up an insane amount of runs. He has in a few starts given up like 6 or 7 runs, but overall, it's hard for him to get past like 5 innings. Today, Tomoyuki Sagano goes 3.2 innings, gives up 6 hits, 4 walks, and 3 earned runs with 4 strikeouts in the process, and also gave up a home run. A 90 pitch count across 3 innings is not great at all. Obviously, the 4 walks and the 6 hits and is crazy as well across 3 innings, and the 3 runs as well. So his ERA has gone up to a 4.54. So the ERA isn't like the worst thing in the world, but it also isn't the best. But it's just the fact that he's been getting worked a lot here recently and not really being able to have any smooth innings over the past month or so. And Tomoyuki Sagano is somebody that the Orioles could potentially trade. I just don't really know what his trade value is at this point, but we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks or so leading up into the deadline. And not just Tomoyuki Sagano, but overall with all the guys that could potentially get traded, because there honestly is like 6 guys who could get traded off this Orioles team, including potentially Ramon Laureano or even Felix Bautista. I don't think they're going to trade Felix Bautista, but they are listening to calls because people are reaching out for him. Caleb Martin in this game goes 1 inning, gives up a hit, a run, an RBI. Caleb Martin, what did he do? 1 inning, gives up a hit, a run, a walk, a strikeout, and a home run. So he did it all. He clean swept with all ones on this stat sheet in the 1 inning that he pitched. And then Colin Selby did get the loss in this game. 1.1 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits and a run. And then Grant Wolfram really just nailed the coffin in this game in the 2 innings that he pitched. In 2 innings, he had a 39 pitch count, 4 hits, 3 walks, and 4 runs in the 2 innings. His ERA is up to an 11.74. So shout out to Tony Mancelino for taking a very winnable game and putting in the worst possible bullpen rotation that we possibly have on this team. Shout out to Tony Mancelino. Obviously, he's not going to be having a job here in the next couple of months after the season ends, because there is no way in hell that the Orioles re-sign him as our manager. He's made countless horrible, pitching substitutions, but at the same time, you really can't blame him. I'm not really going to sit here and go after him. He is an interim manager at the end of the day. He's not really supposed to know all this stuff. But again, this game was winnable, and Grant Wolfram kind of literally just shut the door on any sort of comeback that this Orioles team potentially had in them. But going over to the game tomorrow, game 2 of this series, it is going to be Brandon Young versus Joey Cantillo. And this is going to be interesting because Brandon Young, as we know, is a AAA pitcher, and the only reason that he is up in the majors right now is because of the injuries to Zach Eflin and Cade Povich. Speaking of Cade Povich, he should be coming back here pretty soon after his rehab starts in AAA. Same thing with Adley Rutschman. But Brandon Young getting the start tomorrow, 0-4 on the season, a 7.5 ERA. I'm going to be honest with you guys, not really expecting anything good from Brandon Young. The only thing that Brandon Young has done this year that has been notable was that immaculate inning that he had, which was really cool at the end of the day. To be honest with you, it was really, really, really cool. But Brandon Young has not had a good season so far, and in a time where not only are these Orioles series must-wins, literally every single game right now is a must-win. We are slowly, every single day, losing grasp of reality with this Orioles team, and eventually it is going to officially be too late. But every single game that we lose is so unbelievably impactful, and every game that we win really isn't even that impactful unless we go on a big stretch of games. So the front office and the coaching staff and everyone is in a little bit of a pickle right now, trying to figure out what's going on and how they want to move forward throughout the season, because those conversations need to be happening tonight in Mike Elias's office. They need to be happening tonight, talking about what is going to be happening moving forward, because this is one of those games where you had an early lead, you're up 3-0, and then it immediately gets erased, and then you have a lead again, immediately gets erased, and you lose the game. And this is why the Orioles' record is the way that it is, because they cannot find any sort of consistency, they cannot find a rhythm, and they cannot just win a game when they need to. And that's been the problem with this team all year. We've seen it all year long, and it sucks. And it really does suck to see the route that they've gone this year, knowing the expectations they had going into the season. And it is going to be a very sad and potentially frustrating deadline, because I will say, and I'm just going to say it how it is, I don't really trust Mike Elias with anything regarding not the draft. When it comes to trades and when it comes to signings, I don't trust him at all. So to be honest with you, when in the obvious world and the obvious solution is to sell, heavy sell, not just sell Ryan O'Hearn or maybe a Tomoyuki Sagano. I mean sell everyone that is going to be a free agent next year. When that's the obvious route, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if Mike Elias just doesn't trade anybody and it has the delusion that we can come back into the season, and then the same thing happens, and then we look like idiots when everybody leaves next year and we didn't get anything for them. So, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Whatever Mike Elias does, to be honest with you, I'm always expecting it to be the wrong decision, because he hasn't given me any reason to think that he can do the right thing when it comes to building a team. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. That is my general manager, and I guess we stand behind him. But Brandon Young, hasn't had a great season. Not really expecting anything too crazy out of him tomorrow. Hopefully the Orioles bats can be ready to go if Brandon Young does have a bad game. Hopefully the bats are ready to go to try and get a win, because at this point I'm just trying to see my favorite baseball team win games, whether how meaningless it is or not. I'm a fan of this team at the end of the day, and I want to see them win games. But thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. I know this was a little bit of a ranting episode, but to be honest with you, seeing the way that the Orioles lost again today, it kind of pushed me over my limit just a little bit. I've had some of these rant episodes before, for very good reason, obviously, with how the Orioles have played this year and the ways that they have lost. But yeah, Ravens training camp starts tomorrow, and the first training starts on Wednesday, so that is obviously super exciting news. Episode 100 is also coming out tomorrow, so make sure to tune into that. I appreciate all the support again that you guys have given me. If you want more content, make sure to subscribe on my YouTube and follow up on the Spotify. Make sure to like the video on YouTube as well, and click the link in the bio of whatever platform you're listening on to follow the to follow the Twitter and the Instagram. On Instagram, I'm posting updates on every single time I post an episode, and on Twitter, I'm doing live tweets over things that are happening throughout the game, live tweets to any signings, trades, news, all that. So make sure to give that a follow. And yeah, thank you guys for all the support again. Episode 100 is tomorrow. We've come a long way in such a quick time. Obviously, this is a daily show. I appreciate all the support you guys have given me. Again, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing in this world than talking Orioles and talking Ravens with y'all, because, again, these are my favorite teams in the entire world, and I'm so glad that I've been given the opportunity to express my love for these teams. So I'll have an episode up sometime tomorrow talking about the Orioles game, and I'll also be discussing anything training camp related news that comes out tomorrow with the Ravens. But tomorrow should be a good episode. It's also episode 100. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support, and I'll see y'all in the next one. You have a greatest Yells night and a greatest Yells morning whenever you're listening to this. Thank you guys so much again. I'll see y'all in the next one. Go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.